tryna say I'm only in the meeting. Got a code with my dogs, can't get in between. I can give them life, no more energy. Man.
Hey guys, Doc here. Me and JJ recorded a full video. You guys will see it in like 10 seconds, but I did want to give you guys the heads up. We made the video under the assumption that Amon Brown was not going to play, and we mentioned in the video that nothing was confirmed yet. As we finished the video, Amon Brown was ruled in, so just keep that in mind with some of the commentary that we share. The bets at the same will be the same ones that we initially placed. Just keep in mind that the value and the odds that you get might be different than the ones we get, and you can adjust it as you so please based on what we share and what you know about Amon Brown. But good luck. Enjoy the video. It is a great day to watch the Detroit Lions play football. Me and JJ are here. We're talking about Thursday Night Football. Great matchup between the Lions and the Cowboys, both of them coming off Thanksgiving games last week, now facing in primetime. JJ, how are we feeling?
I mean, the real question is, how are you feeling as a Detroit fan after last week?
More nervous than I expected to be at this point of the season, I will admit. But I think I'm more confident than most Detroit fans coming into this game. Just knowing who Dan Campbell is. We'll get into it, but I feel like this is the ultimate trap game for Dallas. And I think with the way the books are pricing things, I think they agree. So we'll see what happens. But I'm feeling good. Let's get into the touchdown bets, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, so as always, the first thing we like to look at is where are defenses allowing touchdowns to go. We look at opponent rushing touchdown percentage on teamrankings.com. And as you can see, Detroit ranks 5th lowest in rushing touchdown percentage allowed, meaning most of the touchdowns they allow are coming through the air. Dallas ranks 13th, but in the last 3 games with the run defense a little bit better, that number has climbed down a little bit more. So for both of these teams, we're targeting passing options. For both of them, when you look at like whether they target outside receivers or the slot or tight ends, it is a little bit more balanced. There's no clear funnel. However, lately Dallas has been allowing a little bit more to outside receivers. So on the Detroit side, you're looking more towards JMO. For Dallas, you honestly just want to look towards red zone target rate. I think CD is always the easy one. Pickens' red zone target rate is still up there, and Ferguson's always going to be in the mix. So my favorite touchdown bet as far as this particular process would probably be Jameson Williams. Last I checked, he is at plus money. But that's the short and sweet of it. JJ, we got the rushing analysis, and I think there's a lot to talk about here because Dallas they traded for Quinnen Williams. They got some guys back in the second level defending there as well, and they've looked really good the last few weeks. I have reason to be skeptical of those statistics that they're putting up, but I'll let you have the floor first.
Yeah, when you're looking at the rushing yards per game, like Dallas defense looks fantastic. But then you also have to look at the teams that they played in the game scripts. I mean, when you look at the Eagles game, they completely went away from the run game. I mean, Saquon had 10 carries. It's hard to look at that,
22 yards, too.
22 yards. Yeah. And then who was that? Before that was the Raiders. I think that was another 10-carry game, somewhere around there.
I know he had, 2 carries in the first half? It was bad.
They completely, again, they just completely went away from the run early on in these games, too. And then you get KC, 14 carries for, what was it? I think he had 4.1 yards per carry, though.
I know Hunt and Pacheco both had over 4 yards of carry, and if your defense allowing over 4 yards of carry to both of those guys, there's problems. It's not something to pat yourself on the back for. They're not the most efficient run team. They don't want to run the ball. They don't like to run the ball. They have Patrick Mahomes back there for a reason. So if you're allowing 4 yards of carry to both of Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco in the same game, not exactly painting yourself in the best light.
Yeah. Because, I mean, lately, last 5 weeks, Detroit has been mainly a zone concept, and Dallas's last 5 weeks, middle of the pack in defending it. 4.1 yards per carry for, going into this week. So, I mean, they've improved because this defense running the ball but defending the run has been absolutely horrendous the first 8 weeks of the season.
The bar was set very low. Set very low.
Yeah. So, I mean, for them to get to middle of the pack, I mean, getting was it Quinnen Williams? I mean, it's made a huge difference. But they're not elite per se, you know.
Yeah. I think that's the key thing. My skepticism doesn't come in like, oh, they're a bad run defense. No, they were very, very bad. I'm talking bottom 3, maybe even worse in the NFL up until 3 weeks ago when all these pieces came back. I think they're probably average, maybe slightly lower than average. But with the numbers that we've seen the last 3 weeks and the way people have been talking about it, you'd assume they jump from bottom 3 to top 3 run defense. And I'm just not there yet. Today could change my mind. I would. This is their first true run game test. And if they come out and ball out today, then I'll tip the cap on and say, you know what? Their run defense, it's there now. But I'm
Yeah.
not going to make that statement yet. There hasn't been a matchup where they've shown me that they can do it, that they've earned their flowers for just yet. We're talking about the Raiders, the Chiefs, and Philadelphia. Not last year's Philadelphia, this year's Philadelphia, without Lane Johnson, by the way. So they haven't proven anything yet. They've just proven that they're not going to roll over even against bad run teams, which I'll give them credit for that because earlier in the season they were. With that being said, you get a Lions team that their whole identity is running the ball, and now they don't have Amon-Ra St. Brown. They're likely not supposed to have Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'd be shocked if he plays, but I don't think anything's been confirmed yet. And no Sam Laporta. So there's not that much receiving options to go to. We'll get to the passing analysis in a little bit. But they want to run the ball. They're going to have to run the ball, and they seem to run the ball a lot better at home as well. So Jahmyr Gibbs is playing out of his mind. David Montgomery still has the rule. I think if Dallas isn't that elite defense people want them to be, it's going to get exposed in pretty big fashion here.
Yeah. And I think the surprising thing for me when I'm just looking at these teams is Detroit, they've really handed over the reins to Jahmyr. And it's like they kept saying, oh yeah, we're gonna get D-Mont involved, but I mean, hey, it's just not there no more.
I think they want to get him involved when they have control of the game. Like they're leading
Yeah.
by 10. They're trying to keep control of the clock, keep control of the game. They're not trying to score on every play. They're just trying to make sure the chains keep moving. I think Montgomery still has that role, but this is probably going to be a shootout. We saw last week and the week before and the week before that. The Lions are kind of just throwing haymakers at each other between them and the opposing teams. There hasn't really been a clear advantage at any point for them yet. I don't know if I'm bullish enough on this match to say it will happen today, but if the Lions do take an early lead and they're up by 10 in the second or third quarter, I think that's when we see them put their money where their mouth is, because I don't think they want Montgomery in there over Gibbs when they're like, hey, we need a big play. I don't think they're ever going to do that. Let's get into the passing game then.
Yeah.
Neither of these pass defenses are good. Gonna be, as a Lions fan, I'm gonna be completely honest. We suck. We can't defend the pass at all.
Especially the deep ball.
We get pressure to the quarterback. Our defensive line will do that. The rest of the crew don't do too hot. I was watching the game on Thanksgiving. For whatever reason, I thought Terrion Arnold was number 0 instead of number 6. Had one of the worst coverage reps I've ever seen on Christian Watson, and I was yelling for him to be cut on the spot. I'm one of the guys. I support Terrion Arnold more than most. Again, there is some fan bias there, but I think he gets a bad rep. But just to put it in perspective, that's our DB1. And I was yelling at him during a Thanksgiving meal to get cut on the spot. We're in trouble back there. We're not healthy. The guys who are healthy haven't performed too great. Would be great if that changed today. I promise I'd be the biggest fan of that, and I'd love to eat my words. Against CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, don't think that's the matchup that's going to happen. Going to be completely honest. They've cooked most of the defensive backs in the league. I have a feeling they're going to do that again today.
Yeah, both of them are going to catch a deep ball here. I got a feeling for
multiple.
It's inevitable.
Yeah. I think the only thing that's really worth talking about is Ferguson, Turpin, and Flournoy. Do we care for them at all? Is there any real edge where you're like, oh, they do really well against this personnel? Don't be surprised if they go for 50 today. Is there any of that?
I don't even know if it's going to be personnel. I think it's just usage-wise, since CeeDee came back in week 7, it's just CeeDee or Pickens or nothing.
You don't need to go anywhere else. They're always open.
Yeah. I mean, it's
like
like
George Pickens is significantly better against man coverage. CeeDee Lamb is just good against both. But the Lions run a lot of man coverage, probably one of, if not the most in the NFL. So George Pickens has a good matchup. CeeDee Lamb has a good matchup. The coverages favor both of them. What the hell do we think is going to happen? Dak's probably throwing for 300 today.
yeah. And it's like Ferguson's probably going to get over 6 targets. But it's like it's always just those low A-dot throws. So it's like his yards are really a gamble.
And the Lions are good against those low A-dot tight end throws for what it's worth. It's usually the ones up the seams, like the more higher usage tight ends that end up struggling with. But against the ones where you're like, yeah, you're not, it'd be a shock if you went for more than 50 yards. They seem to handle their business pretty well against them. On the other side of the ball, likely no Amon-Ra St. Brown, no Sam Laporta, no Khalif Raymond. So Jamison Williams, wide receiver 1, he's been performing really well lately. But now wide receiver 2 becomes Isaac Tesla. Slot wide receiver becomes Tom Kennedy. It's not looking good out there. And you're going to need to see a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs. I think we see Jahmyr Gibbs running routes in this one.
I mean, honestly, if we're being technical, Jahmyr Gibbs is wide receiver 2, bare minimum.
Yeah. I mean, people were saying, 2 running back sets with Jahmyr and David Montgomery. They've been seeing that more. No, it's just David Montgomery as a running back and Jahmyr Gibbs lined up as a wide receiver. We're not running 2 running backs in the backfield. Jahmyr Gibbs is just dead ass running as a wide receiver. And now with no Amon-Ra St. Brown, that's only going to be there more. So I will say, I don't think Dallas has the personnel to defend Jahmyr Gibbs as a receiver, but I also don't expect Jahmyr Gibbs to literally act as a wide receiver getting 10 targets. Like if he gets 8 targets, 6 of them are going to be out of the backfield. But just the fact that he is out there is something to put it into perspective on the situation that the Lions are in the pass game.
Yeah. The good thing is they're at home. So, Jared Goff does better at home.
Specifically the dome. I'll give him that. But yeah, the Lions being in a dome should help pretty significantly here. One interesting stat I found, when Goff plays against bad run defense, I think it was like bottom 20 run defenses, he has 250 yards in all 5 or all 6 games. There's 11 games total. 5 or 6 of them are green, 5 or 6 of them are red. But it was like all green against bad run defenses, all red against strong run defense. So if you can't get the run game going and move the chain and get the play action game open, he performs significantly worse. And we've already talked about the rushing analysis, part of the reason we did it first, that the Lions should have success there. So if they're going to have success in the run game, the pass game success is going to follow. Even with no Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think J-Mo should fill the role pretty well. Another piece of information we found out is he's been running more in-breaking routes since Dan Campbell took play calling over. With Amon-Ra St. Brown, that's only going to increase. But he has 4.95 yards per out run on in-breaking routes. That's 5th highest in the NFL among receivers that have run at least 50 of those routes. 6 if you include Rashee Rice, because he's at like 7.8. But 4.95 is absolutely ridiculous efficiency. So it fills the void of Amon-Ra St. Brown pretty easily from a production standpoint. But then now if he's filling in Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's filling in his role? Does Isaac Tesla do it enough for you? We don't know. We haven't seen enough to really say with confidence. The coaches seem to like him. They've spoken good things about him, even in games where he hasn't gotten much usage. They've said good things about him. But then you get into Tom Kennedy and some of the like tight end 3s and 4s in the roster that, I mean, you can bet on. Like if a guy's out there getting 30 routes as a tight end, they're probably getting 20 yards at some point. But I'd rather just bet on J-Mo.
Yeah.
I do like Tesla though. I know it's square, just like, Jamison Williams, wide receiver 1, nobody else is healthy, like Jamison Williams. Tesla, he's yet to go over his receiving yards line for those looking at prop bets. But I think if he's going to fill the X wide receiver downfield role, last week was his first week getting consistent usage on the field all the time. But Green Bay is a great down the field deep ball defense.
Yeah.
Dallas is not. So if the Lions offensive line can hold, which I think they're all going to play, but they're all dealing with injuries. If they can hold, don't be surprised if we see some Tesla deep balls connect here. I think he's had 3 targets the last 2 weeks. All 3 of them have been down the field. So I think a ladder could be in play. I probably want to wait for the confirmation that Amon-Ra St. Brown is out before I do it. But sprinkle a little bit Isaac Tesla, 50-plus receiving yards. You can go up to 70 if you want, if you're feeling really risky. I think we do have a red zone package for him once we get there as well. Dan Campbell said something about that like 3-4 weeks ago, and we haven't seen it yet. Don't be surprised if we see it today. But that's all I really have on the Lions side. I know once we get to the Lions, I end up yapping a little bit more than JJ since I naturally have a lot more to say, but it's always fun.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get into the Q&A section. We put up some questions on Twitter on the Masterclass Analytics account on who do you guys want to see researched, and we're going to answer on the stream. The first one we got was Gibbs rushing, and I'm a big fan of Gibbs rushing. We've talked about it a lot so far on the show that the Dallas run defense has unfortunately quickly become overrated. Not that they're as bad as they were, but the last 3 weeks they've inflated their stats a lot in against very bad rushing offenses. This is not one of those offenses. So one of the things for Gibbs, he's a lot better at home for whatever reason. In 6 home games, he's over in 4 of 6 with 90 plus in 4 of those 6. And the games he didn't cover were Green Bay, a tough matchup, and Minnesota. And this Green Bay game came directly after a 220-yard game. So, like, naturally, things are going to balance out a little bit. So, if we filter for home games against good yards per carry matchups, 3 of 3, all green, 136 plus yards, just rushing in 2 of those 3 games. Big, and this Chicago game was a blowout, by the way. If you filter that out, we got 136 in each of them. So big Jahmyr Gibbs fans this week. The next one we got was about Jake Ferguson. I'm going to assume it was his receiving yards. His betting line is at 36.5 receiving yards. We have him projected 30.04. One of the big things with him and is the fact that CeeDee Lamb hasn't been healthy all season. And in games with CeeDee Lamb, he has he has 7 or less targets in every game except this week 2 game against the Giants. So since CeeDee Lamb came back and now Pickens is popping off, he's had 7 or less targets in every game. With 7 or less targets this season, he's under in 6 of 9 games, and Arizona is a great tight end matchup. Green Bay allows a lot of stuff underneath. JJ talked about that's kind of where he feasts, so it makes sense that he went over there. And Philly's a divisional game. I'm not going to put too much weight on that. They've seen each other a million times. So I do like the under on Jake Ferguson based off what we can see with the site. Before I give you guys the last 2, if you guys want to access the site, just scan the QR code on the bottom right. You get a free week trial, and we add this segment into the videos just to kind of show you guys how to use it as well. The next one we got asked about was CeeDee Lamb receiving yards. The line is set at 80.5. He's had, against teams that allow a lot of air yards, which the Lions allow the most in the NFL, he has had 90 or more air yards in all of these matchups, 120 in all but one of these matchups, if you remove Denver, who is obviously a very good pass defense. So if we go back, take out this filter, and just look at games with 90 plus air yards, a lot of green. The ones that he missed, again, the hard Denver matchup, and this Philly game where he dropped multiple passes that would have sent him well over 100 yards. If we raise this to 120, we see more of the same. If we want to go to 2024, we can do that as well. Filter for games with Dak Prescott and 120, or let's just stick with 90 receiving yards for now. A lot of green. So CeeDee Lamb should be in for a good game today. Good matchup, good usage. It should show up. And the last one, Isaac Tesla over 36.5 receiving yards. And this won't show that well on the site because he hasn't gone over this line yet all season. But again, I do want to mention his routes run 17, 24, and 27 the last few weeks. This 27 came with Amon-Ra St. Brown getting injured early, who we're expecting not to play today. We have him projected 41.4 receiving yards. His betting line is 37.5 on FanDuel. The reason that I think this is important is because even though this is all red, with the route share coming up. This Green Bay game, like we said, terrible matchup. Giants game, Amon-Ra St. Brown was still there, and Amon-Ra St. Brown went off, by the way. 17 air yards. His one target was for 17 air yards. If he brings that in, we're probably looking at something different. And the rest didn't matter that much. So we're looking more at the usage rising and the fact that he gets a good matchup in this one. Even if this graph is all red, we do like the over.
When you're looking at role players, guys, always look at the usage increase when other players are out, because these guys always have limited roles. And then now all of a sudden they step into a much larger role that you can't account for through the data all the time. But when you're looking at route share, because a player gets hurt early in the game, that's key player, you kind of get a better idea like what you could potentially see.
Oh, yeah. Last game was his only game where pretty much everybody was out. Like we said, 27 routes, 34 air yards, and one of the worst matchups as for an X receiver that you could ask for. So expect that to change here. Parlay time, JJ.
Let's do it.
All right. For the projections parlay, FanDuel let us get $50 on this, more than they usually do. So we took advantage. We got JMO, anytime touchdown score. Like we said, we're going to target some sort of receiving touchdown in this matchup for both sides. We went with the Lions because we think it funnels a little bit more to the outside against this Dallas defense, and that fits perfectly for Jameson Williams, who's been pretty frequent in the end zone this season, even through some ups and downs in the usage department. Next up, we got CeeDee Lamb over longest reception. It's this Dallas defense in the secondary is not good. CeeDee Lamb hits this line every game. 2 + 2 = 4. CeeDee Lamb should go over once again. And Lions owe us some coin back. They did not hit for us on Thanksgiving. I'm pretty sure it cost us the parlay, if I'm not mistaken. They owe us. I personally think this is a big trap game for Dallas. And I think if they can get that ground game going like we expect them to, it's going to be hard for Dallas to keep up with them defensively. And then, they should keep control of this game at home. Lotto. Taking that Detroit money line, we're boosting that to a -6.5 spread. We get this at a $5 max on DK. Then we're taking CeeDee Lamb 100+ receiving yards. Took him last week because it was a good matchup. He was due, and the coach continuously showed belief in him. All three of those things still remain true. He hit 100 yards last game, and he's going to do it again in this one. And Jameson Williams, like we said, those in-breaking routes, especially without Amon-Ra St. Brown, ridiculous efficiency. Now we get Goff still in the dome. It should show up again. So it's +16.90 with the boost. $5 wins $89.50. And a little something new for you guys. First touchdown score. It's not JMO. It is Isaac Tesla. It's like I said, Dan Campbell spoke about wanting to get him involved in the end zone, that there is a role for him there with everybody out, with it being a favorable passing touchdown matchup. It's not going to be JMO. I don't think it's going to be a tight end. It's going to be Isaac Tesla. And for everybody watching, I want to add one detail that's unrelated to any of this. If you see any sportsbook with Dan Skipper anytime touchdown lines, message me because I can't find it. If you don't remember what happened 2 years ago when these two teams played, go look it up. Look up the name Dan Skipper Dallas. You'll see why I want to bet on Dan Skipper. There's your homework for the day. But otherwise, JJ, that's everything we got. The links for all these autofill parlays will be in the description. All you have to do is click the link, fill it in. Otherwise, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you don't miss the next video. And scan that QR code on the bottom right so you have access to the website. JJ, you have the floor. Sign us off.
Hey, the great thing about this game, even though it's a Thursday game, we get to treat it like it's a Sunday game because both teams have a full week of rest. So you're not getting shorted on prep time or none of that. So I expect a good football game here. Hopefully we get some good hits.
Yeah, we're in for a treat, and hopefully our bank accounts are as well. Take care, everybody. Good luck.